In this program, Hip Hop in the Middle East, Rhymes, Revolution, and Resistance, we'll be exploring the role of rap music during and since the Arab revolutions.
BBC افكار تكت الراب يا واتساب MP شو بدك تعمل خيي تقولوا عنك الكلام بطلع على الراديو تقولوا عني وين ما كان شو بدك تصير لك هلا لك شو بدك تعمل نواي افكار تكت الراب I'm rapper double A.
Today in Lebanon, a country divided in population, there exists a similarity in their music.
Specifically for our generation, we don't have any fear. The only people who still scared and people who still voted for Sisi were the older generation, because our generation saw our own friends get killed during the revolution.
I walked 200 meters. I turned around to find them pulling over in front of the cafe and going inside it with their guns. So I started running.
You never know what's gonna happen. We heard a lot about other artists who disappeared. Someone, they cut his throat. You know, it's only music. They were only doing music.
Music and revolution have always gone hand in hand, and the Arab revolutions that began in early 2011 were no exception. Despite a history of sometimes brutal oppression of free speech in this region, Arab rappers still manage to take up the mantle as a voice of resistance.
Imagine you're saying a sentence you created and you believe in it, and you're standing in the middle of like a 4,000 people crowd, and they are saying it back. So I felt like this is what I want to do. That's when I figured that what I want to do is hip-hop.
They all walked in like an army. They were chanting hip-hop, hip-hop, hip-hop.
I've lived in Beirut for
Knowledge.
Hold it now.
Hip-hop emerged in the late 1970s from young and disenfranchised Black and Latino Americans of the Bronx. Today, hip-hop has made it to the furthest reaches of the globe, including the Arab world. And while the reference back to the Bronx and the origins of hip-hop are important, a growing number of Arab rappers in the region are pointing to their own poetic traditions, which they say stretch back much further in history, like the 1,000-year-old Levantine tradition of Zajag.
It's based on poetry and actually improvised poetry. One poet would start and the other one would have to answer him. It was literally the same thing as a hip-hop MC battle. It's the same exact thing. Hip-hop, it was born in the States and we all acknowledge that. But hip-hop is beyond America. Hip-hop is a culture that appeals to all. I always say that we were hip-hop before we labeled it as hip-hop.
That's Lin Fatouh, aka Malika, or Queen in English. Malika is a rapper who was raised in Beirut under the shadow of war.
War has always been part of life here. It's funny that we live with it as if it's a normal thing, when like it's normal for us to have tanks in the middle of the street, an army with their weapons. So to me, it was always a normal thing until I started traveling abroad, and then I realized that, okay, you don't have army in the middle of the city. And it's only at that point that I realized that we take war as a normal part of life when it shouldn't be.
Malika has established herself as a well-respected rapper and is viewed by most as one of the pioneering female MCs in Arab hip-hop, working in a very male-driven musical world. I first met Malika in Beirut in 2007 as part of a rap collective known as the 961 Underground, 961 being Lebanon's country telephone code. Then as now, Malika's lyrics were bombastic critiques of government corruption, a recognition of the Palestinian plight, the need for Arab unity, and imploring women to take control of their own destinies. Malika's music has obviously struck a chord with a legion of fans in the Middle East. Her YouTube page has over 250,000 views. She's toured with American superstar rapper Snoop Dogg and headline shows in France, the USA, and Canada. She also has a number of sponsorship deals with international brands. Malika is a star, and hers is a formidable voice in the region. We met up at a cafe on Beirut's famous Corniche coastline. I wanted to know if she felt hip-hop could really be a catalyst for change in this part of the world, and whether it played a genuine part in the events of the Arab Spring.
Of course. I mean, I think the biggest role was in Egypt because the rappers, whether it's MC Amin, Arabian Nights, and they used to go down to Maidan al-Tahrir. They used to perform in front of all the protesters, and then they used to speak a lot about it, educate the people about it. So they did play a key role in the establishment of this whole revolution. whether it's an educational role or whether it's just a supportive role by just being there and also entertaining the people that were in Tahrir Square. I think their role was key in the whole revolution process.
Do you think that since the revolutions, things have changed in the minds of the rappers in the Arab world?
Ever since the revolutions, hip-hop became very political. There's a lot of rappers that now don't talk to each other anymore just because of their political views on the revolutions. You have two big groups. This happened not in Egypt, this happened because of Syria. Syria separated the rappers. Because it's such a key country, Syria is the heart of the tension. Syria is a complete different scenario. The impact that Syria has is much bigger on a regional level. When Syria started happening, the rappers split between the pro-government and the rappers that are against the government. Rappers used to all be like the freedom of Palestine, freedom of Iraq. We were all united that, yeah, we want to unite Arabia, we want America out, we want Israel out. But now it's different. Now we're not all united with the same message. Now you have two sides. It's at that point where you realize how deep the conflict is and that it could also affect the people that fight against it. You know, you sometimes get sucked in and the game is so much bigger than us that we feel so small. Like now I've reached a point where I feel so small in this whole game and I'm like, I don't see a solution. I don't see how this is gonna go for the better. I don't really have the power to make that big of a change. I don't see how I can influence the world that much. I tried. And I think a lot of rappers are reaching this point where we're starting to lose faith or hope.
I can understand why Malika believes that many Arab rappers have become more jaded despite their desire for change. However, what about rappers from Syria? Do they have the same bleak outlook? Hani Al-Sawa, known on stage as Al-Said Darwish, is a 27-year-old writer, youth mentor, and rapper from the district of Homs in Syria, the area dubbed by the media as the capital of the Syrian revolution after residents embraced the call to overthrow President Bashar al-Assad in early 2011. 4 years on, much of the district is now under opposition control. But back in 2011, Hani felt like his music was not making the kind of impact he had hoped for and took a more direct approach to create change.
I wasn't doing hip-hop when the revolution started in Syria because I got fed up. People aren't listening. So when the revolution started, I started making chants that no one used in the streets. I became the guy in the protest who's being held on shoulders, and I go, people go like, la la. That felt amazing. Like, imagine you're saying a sentence you created and you believe in it. You're standing in the middle of like a 4,000 people crowd and they are saying it back. So I felt like this is what I want to do. That's when I figured that what I want to do is hip-hop. And it came out naturally. I didn't force myself into being a hip-hop artist because back then I was asking myself, do I want to do hip-hop? I like poetry, I like writing, and I like delivering my ideas to people. But do I want to do it through hip-hop? And during the protests, I got back to the paper and the pen naturally. I started writing.
About the same time that you're figuring that hip-hop is the thing that you want to do because you are leading chants of your own making, at that same time, one of the members of this circle, this civil group that you started, got arrested. The kinds of things that you were saying were inflammatory to the government?
Of course. The regime prosecuted us for the last breath of our existence on the ground. You can't say that people are sectarian and they hate each other's while Tajammu' Nabd, our civil group, doing a protest in Al-Khaldiyya when a woman with a niqab on her face is holding another girl that has no hijab and she's not a Muslim. So for the regime, this was a nightmare. We had to go so he can establish what's happening now, and he chased us and we left.
Rappers and MCs were seen by the government as another form of protest against the establishment in a country where, according to the NGO Human Rights Watch, tens of thousands of people have been jailed and some missing and some presumed dead. Ibrahim Kashosh was from Hama in Syria. By profession, he was a fireman, but he was also a rapper and poet. Ibrahim wrote a protest anthem called "Come On Bashar, Time to Leave." Ibrahim's lyrics say, "Your legitimacy has ended. Get out, Bashar. Bashar, you're a liar. To hell with you and your speech. Freedom is at the door. It's time to leave, Bashar. Get out, Bashar." In July 2011, the Telegraph newspaper reported that a few weeks after making that recording, Ibrahim was found dead, floating in the river Orontes, his throat slit and vocal cords ripped out. Over 1 million Syrians have fled the violence of war, and Lebanon has become their new home. Like the sons and daughters from the more educated or middle-class backgrounds, Henny is among a group of Syrian exiles who were increasingly targeted by the Syrian government for their outspoken views against the regime.
I left Homs in 2011 because one of the small circle of the group that we did got arrested, and they asked him to call me. He called me on my phone. He tells me, "Where are you?" I say the place that I'm in. Back then, we already agreed on a word. He say, "Allah Salmak," that means, "May God make you safe." So he says, "Okay, I'm coming, don't leave, blah, 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 Allah Salmak." So when he says, "Allah Salmak," I knew that I should run. So I took my stuff from the cafe and I started running. Like, I walked 200 meters. I turned around to find them pulling over in front of the cafe and going inside it, like, with their guns. So I started running. I'm not totally understanding what's happening. I'm just like, they want to arrest me. What should I do? I called my friend. I told him that I'm coming towards you. He said, "Okay." I took a taxi. Our friend was going to Damascus right away, and he was a great person who passed away. His name was Rami. His father was Amid.
So Colonel.
Exactly. But his son was with the revolution. So he took me with his father's military car to Damascus, which can't be stopped by no checkpoint on our way.
As we hear the sort of shabby sounds of Beirut, we moved to Beirut and you left Damascus.
I didn't want to leave Syria. What happened also naturally made me come to Lebanon. You know, Beirut, with all its bad faces that you can see, is a place that you can really start from. Okay, this is ground zero. So now, where should I go? And honestly, it was a great opportunity for me. If I didn't run from the regime in Syria, I wouldn't be a rapper today.
Here in Beirut, I help promote an open mic hip-hop night. Unsurprisingly, given the huge influx of Syrians into Lebanon, I've seen a rise in Syrian artists taking to the stage to flex their lyrical skills. Many of their raps tell the story of the suffering of the Syrian people, highlighting the complexity of the conflict there, families torn apart because of their competing loyalties to Daesh, commonly known as ISIS, Islamic groups like al-Nusra, and other pro-regime forces like the Free Syrian Army. Inherently, many of those who fled to Beirut were opposed to the Assad regime. However, as the years have passed and the conflict has become more complicated, some opinions have blurred. Watar is part of a Syrian hip-hop group called La Telete. The group, a partnership of Bul Kulthum and Watar, have not altered their lyrical message, that of wanting to promote freedom of expression and democracy in Syria. So I asked Watar, who came to Lebanon 2 years ago, if he thought his music still makes his way back to the people who were still in Syria.
Yeah, sure, because at last I'm definitely talking about Syria. And if I'm not talking about Syria, I'm talking about me as a Syrian who lives outside Syria. So, yeah, I think, yes.
Are you worried about your family?
Sure, everybody worries about his family. Even if I'm not doing music, everyone in Syria is now in danger. So yeah, we should be worried about them. And we faced a few problems when we were back in Syria, and we did like a couple of tracks. It was against the regime and everything. And we had a couple of problems, but
Problems? What problems?
what problems? You know, it's a regime. You know, it's Syria. You know, you can't say whatever you want, and they'll know. At last, they know, and they shouldn't know because you'll never know what's gonna happen. But yeah, we heard a lot about other artists who disappeared sometimes. You know, someone they cut his throat. You know, it's only music. They were only doing music. So yeah, we have to be worried about our families and about ourselves.
Having spent the majority of my time in the Middle East between 2006 and the advent of the 2011 revolutions, covering the developments in Lebanon as a radio news reporter, I was dialed into a vast network of friends, many of them reporters, doing work in the hotspots around the region. So when the revolution began to domino in early 2011, I was in direct contact with the reactions on the Arab street.
After 30 years of rule, Hosni Mubarak has succumbed to overwhelming popular protest and stepped down as president of Egypt. The announcement was greeted with jubilation by the tens of thousands of people who'd gathered for the 18th day in Cairo's Tahrir Square.
For many people around the world watching the Arab revolutions blossom between January and March of 2011, it was Cairo's Tahrir Square that became the symbol of the revolutions, and Egypt, the Arab world's most populous country and a beloved symbol of Arab pride, the revolution's standard bearer.
Shouting with joy, singing and celebrating their freedom. Freedom which may have cost as many as 300 people their lives. People, young and old, who could have been imprisoned just weeks ago for daring to criticize President Mubarak, now celebrating his departure and looking forward with anticipation to a new future for Egypt.
This is MC Amin. By the time the Egyptian revolution began, MC Amin was one of Arab rap's best-known figures, not least because of the power of the Egyptian street and their vocal support for MC Amin on social networks. In my estimation, he is the Egyptian street. It's the philosophical turns of slang in his lyrics that punctuate condemnations of the various governments that have seen him become one of the main hip-hop voices of the Egyptian revolution. It had been 4 years since the revolution in Egypt, and after 2 additional regime changes, I wanted to know what Amin's feelings were about the state of Egypt. So I flew from Beirut to Cairo to meet him and members of the Egyptian rap crew Arabian Nights to find out.
Between Beirut and Cairo in 1 hour 15 minutes. Please fasten seatbelts, which is in the upright position, no smoking motor class. There can be
We've made our way to our ultimate destination for this trip because we're here trailing one of Egypt's most, let's say, well-known, hated, loved rapper you can consider a veteran in the Egyptian hip-hop scene. His name is MC Amin. شو اسمك حبيبي؟ A lot of people seem to really get into what you're doing. Why do you think that is?
Because when I'm talking about us, not just me. So they feel what I'm saying. Every word I say, it's the same between me and you. We want the same things, we hate the same things.
So you act like a mouthpiece for them.
يعني من الأول هو ده نوع المزيكا اللي أنا بسمعه.
I love hip-hop. From the beginning, this was the kind of music I liked. Later, when I started making my own, making a name for myself and getting bigger and reaching more people, the situation wasn't the same as before. I felt I had a responsibility. People listen to me and to what I have to say. However, I do warn people that some songs have swear words. Like this music is not to everyone's taste, and that's fine. They don't have to listen. But there are other songs that are okay, that anyone could listen to. In the end, people have the freedom to choose to listen to my music or not.
How does an artist, a rapper, make a living? How does he pay the bills? What does he do?
In order for a rapper in Egypt to earn a living, he has to give the people what they want. It's the only way to make money. I've had people from big companies and labels tell me they would sign me if I don't talk about religion and politics in my music. The people like me because I speak the truth.
So we have just left Heliopolis and we're on our way downtown, and I'm in a cab right now with MC Amin and another member of Arabian Nights. His name is Sphinx. Like, tell us a little bit about where in the city we were and where we're going right now.
Well, we're pretty much in the Heliopolis area, which is where like the Turks built when they were here ruling. It's like new Cairo, and we're going to the older part of Cairo, which is downtown area and all of that.
What have you noticed when you first started rapping until now about the things that you can and cannot say?
They will not let you grow or to get big. They will not let the people hear you. But now they have a lot of problems, so maybe they are waiting some time, then they will see who was talking and do some problem with them. And if they wanna do something with rapper or something work about music, they will not say it's about music. They say he do terrorist something, or he do he's a drug dealer or something like this.
Do you want the government to hear what you have to say?
Yeah, for sure. If they are Egyptians, they have to hear it.
Are you afraid to go to jail for your art?
Not fear, but no one want to go to the jail. You have a family, you have a lot of things to do.
You have a daughter.
Yeah.
She's 2 years old.
So for sure, I don't want to go to the jail.
Does anyone that you know that is rapping in this Egyptian scene that has been arrested for what they said?
A lot of the rappers here in Egypt don't like to talk about this stuff right now, with new president. They're afraid.
We're 5 minutes from Tahrir Square right now. We have not been able to make our way to Tahrir Square because it's closed off. And it's closed off because tomorrow, which is a Friday, we're here on a Thursday night. Tomorrow is a planned demonstration by the Muslim Brotherhood. But there's a lot of military presence
everywhere, and they are ready.
Tahrir Square meant a lot to you as an artist.
For sure, for everyone, for any Egyptian, because it was the beginning of everything. When the revolution starts, he have a hope it will come back again. Which the third one will be the stronger, the most powerful one. We have the first one against Mubarak, the second against Ikhwan with Morsi, but the third will come against the Sisi.
What do you think that you as an artist can do to create this third revolution?
Make people remember our brothers who died, our friends and our brothers in the jail, a lot of activists, a lot of political people.
Do you know people who were killed in the revolution?
Yeah, I have friends.
Are a lot of these people in jail for simply speaking their mind?
Yeah, protests, write something on the wall. Maybe he will talk shit about the government online.
Online. So is the government monitoring your
For
Facebook
sure.
page?
I think yeah.
And
maybe my phone.
Does that worry you?
I don't care.
It's quite amazing to hear you say that. If you become more and more popular and you're seen as a threat, then I'm afraid for you because they could come after you.
I hope everything will change soon.
So you have more of a hope that things will change before you get arrested?
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm working to make it happen.
We contacted the Egyptian consulate in London to ask for their response to MC Amin's statements, but we received no response. MC Amin clearly believes that his music has the potential to create change, but I was also interested to hear if he believes subsequent governments to Mubarak have used music for their own cause.
All of them. And can you hear?
What are we listening to?
One of the songs. Yeah.
This is one of the songs for Sisi we're hearing.
It's
right
called
now.
Tislam al-Ayadi.
Tislam
al-Ayadi.
May God bless the hands of Sisi. Right now, as we sit here in Al Bursa, the stockbrokers district, about 5-minute walk from Tahrir, we're listening to a song that, as we were just discussing about propaganda music, and you said all of them, Mubarak, Morsi, and Sisi, all use artists to spread propaganda. We're hearing Al-Sisi's propaganda song.
Yeah.
But do you feel like this is the kind of thing that's bringing hope back to the people, or do you think that people have lost hope?
Our generation don't lose hope.
You have not lost hope.
We still have hope.
Even after 3 turns of the government, you still have hope.
But the old ones, the fathers, the mothers, all of them scared.
بطلع سلم واحدة واحدة خطوة خطوة بتدور ما يهمنيش أكون مشهور ولا بجري ورا الظهور.
When we look around at the embers that now represent the hope of the revolutions that started in 2011, the prospects of immediate peace and prosperity for the Arab world seem impossible. War rages in Libya, Syria, Yemen, and Iraq. Islamic State have control over parts of Syria and Iraq, and the Palestinian question is still an open wound for the Arab world. Still, a new generation of rappers is emerging who are looking within the region for musical and lyrical inspiration to express their discontent.
I've met some girls that are younger than me, whether it's in Egypt or KSA, where the culture is a bit more tough on women. And I've had those girls approach me and be like, you're strong, and you look at them in the eyes and you do your thing, and if you're doing it, then I can do it too. Like, I want to do it too.
Malika, MC Amin, Watar, and Syed Darwish are helping to determine what success means, and without exception, they are negotiating that process without a blueprint for success, all forging artistic ground that will likely be considered cornerstones for any future rap movement.